Good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, the 16th of October, so it's the end of week one. And basically, this week we've spent our whole time trying to work out what we can do for a Year 6 farewell. So obviously this video is aimed towards the Year 6 parents, and as it's 10 o'clock in the morning, I haven't yet had a chance to speak with our Year 6 kids, but at 2 o'clock I am going to go and see them and tell them that we have a plan that will allow for a Year 6 farewell. And I'm sure they'll be fairly excited because they've become quite resigned to the fact that it probably won't happen. And I must admit, for most of the year, we had also thought it was just not going to be possible. So the good news is the Department of Education has put together some revised guidelines for Year 12 formals, and we've been told that Year 6 arrangements can reflect the Year 12 guidelines. So what that means for us is we've looked at all the options and we have a plan. So traditionally we would go off to Stonecutters and we have around 50 kids, 55 kids. We take about 35 or 40 staff. We would gather at the front, say hello to everybody, we'd go inside, and then we would end up having some speeches, some dancing, we would hand out certificates, watch a video, cut a cake, invite the parents along for the last bit. It's a format that works really well for our school, for our community, and for our kids. However, the downside of Stonecutters is that the room is a little on the small side when you calculate how many square meters we require in order to be COVID safe. So we've had to have a look around and to see if there's some other options that are available to us, and there is. West Tradies have a site that will allow us to take our entire Year 6 cohort and some staff, so basically the Year 6 teachers and the executive staff, but not all the staff, and we wouldn't be able to invite parents for any component either. Now, I recognise that that's probably not the plan that we would aim for. However, we reckon it's a lot better than having no Year 6 farewell at all. There are also some other guidelines that we need to comply with. So it will be a seated event. So everyone will have assigned seating and you need to stay in your seat for the event. There won't be a buffet or an a la carte meal. Instead, there will be a proper meal on a plate made for you, and you have your own dinner like you would in a restaurant. We can still have some fun games and some activities and that type of thing. We do need to also make sure that the start of the event is organised in a way that doesn't have everybody gathered together in the same place at the same time. So at Stonecutters, generally the teachers would wait out front with the community. The kids would arrive, we'd all say g'day, and then we'd marshal the kids off, but it creates quite a good deal of congestion. So instead this year we're going to have a plan, and we're still working on it. As I said, we've been working all week trying to find some solutions here. Instead, what we're going to have to do is to have a staggered start. So it might be that every student arrives at a certain time, or some groups arrive at certain times, and then we get on with the day. What we can't have is we can't have parents out front. We can't have limos. We can't have cars. It just needs to be a very, very simple drop, and the kids come inside, and then at the end there'll be a staggered conclusion where we marshal the kids out to the parents, a little bit like we do in the afternoon here at school at the moment. We're not quite sure exactly what this looks like. The reality is we're still developing these plans, and as soon as we know, we will let you know. The big thing to remember, I guess, is that this will be something that is happening on the last evening of school. So traditionally, we would be having our event on the second last evening, and then the kids would come to school the next day, which would be their last day with us, and then we would say goodbye in the afternoon. So this year, it has to be on the last night of school. So 3 o'clock on Wednesday the 16th, we will say goodbye to our students as a school. They would then return that evening to West Tradies for the Year 6 farewell, and we then don't see them again. They head off for holidays and then to high school. What we will do, instead of inviting parents along to watch the video with us, is we're going to find a way to distribute that to the community. And my initial idea would be the kids will make the video as they always have. That evening they will receive their graduation certificate, their yearbook. We will watch the video together as a Year 6 cohort along with the Year 6 teachers and the executive teachers. At the same time as we're watching that at the venue, I'm going to find a way that it would go live on YouTube so the Year 6 parents could watch it. And then the next morning, when everybody's started their holidays, obviously we're still here at school, I will distribute that link to the rest of the community so the rest of the kids can watch that video. I feel it is important the Year 6 kids watch it first before we distribute it, and they'll the last evening, whilst not ideal, we can make that a bit of fun as well. The other thing we're going to have to still work through is how we go about as a school saying goodbye to our Year 6 students. So traditionally we would clap them out as part of that video and then they would walk out the gate for the last time. We will do that on the Wednesday afternoon, but it'll probably be a less formal way than it normally has been. We will keep you in the loop. As I said, we're still developing plans. So it's only 10:30 in the morning. The students don't yet know that this is possible, and this will be a bit of a surprise for them. At 2 o'clock this afternoon, I'm meeting with the Year 6 kids, and I will let them know. So by the time they get home this afternoon, we'll all be on the same page. I know the fine details aren't quite worked out, but I wanted to give everybody as much heads up as possible, particularly as you may have already had plans on that last night of school. Well, hopefully this is something better to do for the kids, and everyone can change plans and make sure that happens for us, because I think it's important for the students. The other thing is that there might be some purchasing that I'd ask everyone to hold off on for regarding some clothing for the evening, but now you can start to make your plans around that, and that would be just fantastic. So I'll give the general community heads up in the video newsletter today, but this will be the video with the specifics, and as soon as we've worked out the rest of the fine details, we'll let you know. But the good news is when you see the kids this afternoon, they'll know as well. Have a great weekend, everybody.